use of the next topic is use of Scrum framework at team level. So in this slide, we are going to discuss how the Scrum framework is used at team level. At team level in Safe, in Safe, the team can use either the Scrum framework at team level or the Kanban framework at team level. But primarily, most of the time, Scrum framework is used. If you are building new features or your stories or new functionality, in those cases, Scrum framework is the preferred framework. But if you are involved in some kind of customer service or bug fixes, basically where each of the tickets size is very small in nature, in those cases, they tend to use Kanban framework. So all starts with user stories, which were allocated to this agile team during the PI planning exercise. So all the user stories which were allocated to this team during the PI planning exercise, they are brought to the team level backlog. And if you can see that there are two kind of user stories here, red user stories and blue user stories. So red user stories are the enabler user stories, which are basically the technical building blocks on which the blue user stories will be built. And blue user stories are the uh, business user stories. So all the user stories from team level backlog are prioritized by the product owner, and some the stories with the highest order of priority are bought in the iteration planning event. During the iteration planning event, what happens is basically the first step is to determine the capacity of the entire agile team. Capacity is basically you determine how many days within the sprint each of the developer within the team will be working. So that is the capacity determination. Then what you do is you estimate all the user stories which are allocated, which are bought by the product owner for iteration planning. And during this estimation, the developers may ask further questions to product owner to understand the stories in more details, and they refine these stories at more detailed level of granularity. Then the stories which basically and the next step is uh, to match the capacity available during this iteration to the effort which are required to deliver these stories. And based on these two things, the capacity available within the agile team and the effort required to build your stories, it is decided that how many of these stories can be delivered within the sprint, and based on that, the highest priority stories are taken to iteration backlog, and whatever stories are taken to iteration backlog, based on that, the team together define the iteration goal. And the stories which the team is not able, which is above and beyond the capacity of team within this iteration, they are put back in the team backlog. And what is iteration? Iteration is basically a 2 week interval time box, uh, which in which the agile team will design, build, test, and deliver all the user stories which are allocated to them during the iteration planning. Then every day during the iteration, the team meets together at the same day for 15 minutes, and this event is called Team Sync. During this Team Sync, basically the team discusses the progress on the user stories which are allocated to them, and they also discuss the impediments which are coming in progress of delivering these stories, and they adjust their plan of the sprint based on um, the new understanding they have developed on these user stories. And this team sync meeting happens day after day, basically every day with during the entire iteration. Then towards the end of the iteration, iteration review event happens. And in review event, what they do is basically the product owner verifies the progress of all the user stories which were allocated to the team at the time of iteration planning meeting. And each of the user stories is compared with the definition of done to decide whether the story have reached the definition of done or not. If yeah, so basically here the progress on the functionality which you are building, which the team is building, is basically being reviewed by the product owner and the team, and they gather the feedback back from the stakeholder. And they also show the functionality which they have developed during this entire iteration to the product owner and to wider stakeholder to gather their feedback on the functionality built by them. Then whatever was built during this iteration, that is basically combined together with the functionality which is built by other agile teams within the agile release train, and then it is basically released to the production. Then the next important event which happens during the iteration is the iteration retrospective. In iteration retrospective, what we do is basically the agile team come together in iteration retrospective, and they review their ways of working. They reviews the processes, the tools, and ways of working they used during this iteration. And what they do is they check what uh, went well, what did not went well during this iteration. And from the things which did not went well, what they do is they agree that what all items in their ways of working or tools can be improved, and they pick the highest priority item among from these, and they take that uh, uh, improvement item and put it in um, uh, next sprint backlog, so that this particular improvement item can be worked on in the next iteration.